ஸ்லைடு ஓபன் பண்ணிடுங்க சார். ஸ்லைடு ஓபன் பண்ணுங்க.
அதை ஓபன் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன் சார்.
ஸ்லைடு ஓபன் பண்ணுங்க சார். பவர் பாயிண்ட்.
தெரியுதுங்களா?
யா
வந்துருச்சு சார், வந்துருச்சு. நீங்க ஸ்லைட் ஷோ போட்டு உங்க
கௌதம் சார்
வந்துருச்சு சார், வந்துருச்சு
கௌதம் சார்
சார், வந்துருச்சு சார்.
கௌதம் சார்
சார்
தெரியுது.
வந்துருச்சு. வந்துருச்சு சார். நீங்க உங்க விட்ட ஸ்லைட்ல இருந்து போயிடுங்க, அங்க இருந்து ஆரம்பிச்சிருங்க.
அவர் அன்மியூட் பண்ணிட்டார் சார், நாதன் சார்.
சார் நீங்க
இப்ப அன்மியூட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க.
ஓகே ஓகே சார்.
நான் ரெடியா இருக்கேங்க.
ஓகே சார், கேரியன் சார்.
நீங்க வாங்க, நேரா பிரசன்டேஷன் ஷேர் பண்ணிடுங்க சார், வாங்க.
Okay.
Yes sir, yes sir, please come.
Okay sir.
Please start sir, please start.
Yeah. Now we will be seeing. Yeah, I have started. Now this is the central bulb. We will be seeing the Sitamundi anarthosite complex, which is refolded into three major processes of folding deformation, and this yellow one is target area. Clear, sir? Audible?
Yes sir, very clear, very clear.
Oh, okay. So now this is what we call characteristically the layered anarthosite, where you have the plagioclase rich, amphibole rich layers, and at places we will have the chromite rich layers also. This is the typical of Sitamundi complex, and the plagioclase is also very unique that it is high calcium. That is betonite, 90-95% iron content will be there. In the hinge zones, you can see the amount of shearing. And now coming straight away to the target lithology for the platinum group of mineralization, this is the chromitite. This sort of massive dark colored bands you will be getting associated with the anarthosite in Sitamundi complex. Our target is to sample this and see its depth persistence by drilling. So our sample initial survey on the surface have given very good values, and based on that we have drilled, and you can see within the red circles you can see the sulfides also. So here plus chromite plus the sulfides, they are the host for the platinum group of mineralizations, and this is the anarthosite course. Am I audible, sir? Gautam,
Yes,
sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Under thin sections, now hand specimen, you go to the thin section, how you look like a chromitite, what we call it, how it looks like. The dark ones are the chromite. So you can see this brown. The main mineralogy. Within the chromite, we have the platinum grains. We will not be able to see under the normal microscope because they are very tiny grains. To see this, we have to go to the electron microscope and zoom it at a higher magnifications. Then you will be seeing like a bright star in the sky. You can see here the amount of platinum grains that you get here. Here we have the chromite, and this is pyrite. I showed you the core. This is the pyrite, and this is your platinum grain. You see, it is 92% pure platinum. The size of the grain, this is totally 10 micron. So it will be about 8 micron. 8 micron is the size of the platinum grain. So tiny grains which you can see only under the EPMA, under higher magnifications. So what is characteristic is the high reflectivity. This brightness of the platinum grains is very unique compared to the associated chromite. And this is your silicate, that is amphibole, and this is pyrite. Increasing reflectivity you can see here. Within one single grain of pyrite, you see how many grains of platinum you are able to see. So this particular sample will give 6 to 8 ppm of platinum and palladium. So similarly, we have the chromite associated palladium dominated PG mineral, and here also it is a palladium dominated mineral. So once we do the EPMA analysis, and with this analysis, we can try to pigeonhole them what type of platinum group minerals. Platinum palladium is a platinum metal, but what is the mineral that like bragite, ruarsite, irarsite, and likewise laurite. Likewise, these minerals are already characterized by Louis Cabri, which is a catalog 200 to 300 minerals he has characterized. So we can try to identify what mineral it corresponds to, which mineral he has described from the platinum. This is how the platinum investigation has been carried out by myself and my team, Mr. Vijay Kumar, Dhanendran, all of us we together as a teamwork we have done, and we have proved about 1 million tons in that Chettiam-Palayam and Dasam-Palayam block. Now we come into the younger granitites. As I told you, the younger granites are good for RE mineralization. This is one of the major pluton, Sankari Tirchangodu. So on the way to Salem to Coimbatore, you will be seeing at Sankari Hill, which is essentially a granite with this older supracrystals, which is the marble or the crystalline limestone with the interbanded calcilicate and the biotite gneiss. There is the association which is intruded by these types of granites. What is the common variety is this pegmatoidal variety. You are seeing the very coarse grain. This we call it as a pegmatoidal granite. You will be seeing the blotches of clusters of the feldspar set up in the medium to coarse grained matrix. This is pegmatoidal granite, and we can see here a aplytic vein showing a sharp contact with the pegmatoidal granite, and you can see the mafic segregation at the contact zone. This is the prominent Sankari Hill, where the Tipu Sultan fort is located on the top of it, and we have a footpath to lead up to the temple, the top of the fort. We can map it very clearly, and this shows the clear-cut intrusive relationship of the granite. Are you able to see the enclaves or the xenoliths of the older gneisses within the pegmatoidal granite? This is typical of intrusive relationship which you have to see in the field. And there is an interesting dike, which is a very young dike intruding into the granite. Granite I have dated 530 million years. That is Neoproterozoic. And there is a dike intruding into the granite. So it has to be still younger. So far in Tamil Nadu, Dr. Kanishkan will be telling most of his dikes are 1700 to 1600 million years only. But here is a dike which is younger to 550 million. Possibly they could be related to your Deccan Trough activity or your Agali Anakati dikes of Kerala. So some people who are interested in taking up this, they can take it up for argon dating or potassium argon dating. These details we have published in Indian Minerals. Again, the granites are the host for RE, which Dr. Jayagopal will be dealing in detail. These are all the allanite mineralization. In Karamadai, towards Metupalayam, so we have the Karamadai Hill, we have the plenty swamps of allanite, which shows the typical reddish halos, metamic halos around that allanite you can see. That is because it is a cerium epidote with the thorium that will show the radioactivity. And this scintillometer we use it for measuring this radioactivity. Though it is not the only tool or the effective tool, it will give you a good indication that if there are any radioactive mineral, uranium or thorium rich minerals associated with this. And we have the HRE rich. This is Fergusonite, that is ermium, yttrium, niobate minerals associated with the Samarskite, Branorite, Uranaban, and all those places in Edapadi as well as in Punjai-Paliyampatti areas. So coming to the Madurai block, so now we have seen mostly the Archean crust and the suture zone. We have seen the block and the central block we have seen. The central block suture zone, as we have seen, characteristically it is emplaced by the layered ultramorphic complexes of Neo-Archean, and the Neoproterozoic granitites are also very characteristic. So both from the mineralization point of platinum, gold, and then your RE, RM mineralization, it's a good. Now we come into the south of it. This is more, a lot of work has been done on this Madurai block, because this Madurai block has received wide attention from the global correlation, IGCP Gondwana correlation projects, to correlate this Pan-African imprint in the other Madagascar and Sri Lanka and Western Australia or Antarctica places. Now this particular zone, this lineament, the Palakkad Kaveri lineament was earlier considered by Harris and others as the dividing line between the Archean crust and the Dharwar Archean crust and the Proterozoic mobile belt in the south. Now subsequent work by Bhaskar Rao and others and the Ghosh, Jayagopal Ghosh, they have shown that the Archean crust continues up to the northern margin of the Kodaikanal. So they shifted this boundary to this northern margin Kodaikanal. They named it as a Karur Vatanjatram shear zone. Now they consider that this is the suture of the Archean crust or the Kraton and the mobile. Then another Jayagopal Ghosh is considered the Karur Kambam Paina Uddishon, which is somewhat a curved shear zone he has plotted, and he considered that as the shear zones. And now more recent work is that Brand et al. They are dividing this Madurai block in a longitudinal way, north-south way, divide the western Madurai domain and eastern eastern Madurai domain with the contrasting isotopic ages. That is, they consider this western one is Mesoproterozoic and the eastern one is the Neoproterozoic, Paleoproterozoic and Mesoproterozoic, which were accreted along this ultra high temperature Kambam granulate belt during the Neoproterozoic. This is the model that which is evolving with the base with more and more of young isotopic ages. Here we have a lot of Gabbro-Anorthosite, that is your Kadaur complex is there, Vatanjatram complex is there, but we do not have much mineralization within these Anorthosite complexes. Here we have plenty of limestone, marble quarries are there, Pandalgudi, Tulukapatti, Rajabalaya, and you have Talayutu. So many things they are supporting huge cement industries. And east within this Pederozoic, we have a lot of resources of lignite, so Mannareddy Basin and Ramnad. Now presently the work is going on. So these are some of the field photographs, just to give an idea about how the Charnakite will look like. And these are the typical metasedimentary platformal sequences which are characteristic of Madurai. This type of sequences we don't get north of Palakkad Kaveri Shear Zone in the northern granulate terrain. That is unique. These are the quartzites, orthoquartzites, which in Alagarmala area you can see in low strain zone, we can see the ripple marks still preserved in it, indicating the sedimentary features still preserved. These are the metapalites, which are garnet, sillimanite, cardierite gneiss. At many places, they show the ultra high temperature assemblages. The saffron is the mineral which forms under ultra high temperature, that is around above 1000 degrees centigrade. Such associations are reported in many places by right from Guru and all the people up to Mohan, Anand Mohan, Guru Rajesh. So many people have worked, and even now Santosh Group doing extensive work in this area and identifying more and more of UHT assemblages. Because this gives to understand the geodynamic evolution of this Madurai block. This is the typical calgranulates. This sort of folding, rheomorphic folding you will be seeing in the calgranulates or the carbonates rocks. The massive Charnakite is shown. For the younger generation people, I would like to show these two types of Charnakite. This is the massive Charnakite. This is a regional metamorphic imprint. You are seeing the whole seeing in the, these are all orthogonal to the foliation. So they are aided by the CO2 metasomatism, that is the theory they are bringing out for this type of localized transformation of the ambivalent facial spaces into the Charnakite. This you will be commonly seen in South. After Kabaldurga's discovery, more such incipient Charnakites are reported in the Kerala part, Ponmudi, Kottavatam, Manali and other places. A lot of work is done on this. So this is very interesting from the incipient Charnakite point of view. And the typical metabolite UHT assemblages I was telling. This is Madurai block. You have umpteen number of locations where you can show the saffron association. This is a carnot cardierite, saffron associations. Orthopyroxene is also there. This is a very high ultra high temperature assemblages in Rajabalaya, Mottamalai quarry. You can see here the bluish ones are the cardierite. The ink blue color is cardierite. And you are able to see a prismatic grain. This is orthopyroxene. And at the contact, you will be seeing the prismatine. This is a boron-rich mineral. Prismatine development is. Saffron is within this. Under the thin sections, you can see this is the beautiful saffron grain. And it is occurring, it is surrounded by a sea of cardierite. The cardierite is the characteristic feature that is the zircon inclusion with the play-cray halos. You see here zircon. All around the zircons, you will be having the metamic halos. This is known as the play-cray halos, reddish ones. And this is very characteristic of the cardierite. This is your orthopyroxene and this is your garnet. Okay. These are all textual evidence, interpretation, Sunango and Santosh. So many people have worked on the Rajapalayam granulates. The PTT path has been, I don't want to go into details of it, which you can see in our book, which will be released shortly in another 3-4 months. Editing is over. We have compiled all the data that are generated in the AGT. When we come into the carbonates, very typical situation you will be seeing in the southern granulate terrain, the carbonate. Any quarry, Tulukapatti or Pandal, or you go to Talayutu, a limestone which is containing the angular blocks of the charnocite and pyroxene granulate. It will be looking like a carbonatite which has engulfed the country rock like this. So initially the people suspected that it would be carbonatite, but the mineralogical signatures are the chemical in that is carbonatite. The strontium in the calcite will be in thousands, but the sedimentary limestone, the strontium content will be 200 to 300 ppm, and we don't have any RE bearing minerals in this. So it is only due to the tectonic feature, high amount of fluidity because of the intense ultra temperature metamorphism. The carbonate rocks moved as a mobility as a time, and it has engulfed the country rock. That is the explanation that we are getting out. Then the granites again in south of Palakkad, we have the major granite, Vanjinagaram and Karangalapudi, that is Pudukkottai and Vanjinagaram. Pudukkottai, we do not have much because it is from the commercial. You can see the blocks which Kanishkan will be discussing in detail. These are the commercial granites which are going in. But from the structural point of view, you see the granites, mostly they will be all post-tectonic or in the late phase of the tectonism. But here you see there is a syntectonic variety. You see the folding of these gneisses, country rock gneisses, and in which the granite is emplaced during this F2 deformation, that is also folded. So this is the syntectonic granite. That is how tectonostratigraphy we can build up based on the field relations. If there are granite which is cutting across the foliation into that is the post-tectonic. Then this is the another one thing which is this Madurai block is having the which places plenty of garnet which was exploited. You know the problem in that, and there were a lot of ban also. Now that contain that which places heavy minerals they contain garnet, rutile, ilmenite, and some amount of monazite also. Now they have come out with the stipulation that samples containing more than 0.1% monazite or something like that, it should not be mined or exported. So there is some restriction on that, but still we have a huge resources all along the coast of the east coast. So Tuticorin, Kuttam, Kudalai, and all those places. So now this Madurai block ends at the Achangoi lineament. So this Achangoi lineament is again a major tectonic dislocation. The shear kinematics of the Achangoi lineament has been very well studied, Guru Rajesh and TRK Chetty and others. And we see this particular block here we have seen mostly quartzite, pellite, carbonates, and the younger granites. So much we have seen in the northern Madurai block. But when we come into the southern block, which we call it as a Tirunelveli block, but it is very much entrenched in the literature as Kerala Condalite belt. Because this belt, which is a west northwest east southeast trending belt, is essentially a Condalite sequence, a garnet, sillimanite, gneisses with or without graphite. That is the very characteristic of this belt. Straight belts we are getting here, and the charnocite we get only in the southern part in the Nagarkoil basin, Kottaram basin we are getting. And here, so there are some gabbronorites included in Aramanallur, which is having pentlandite, that is from the nickel point of view investigated in this Aramanallur areas. This is the type of lithologies that we get in the condylite sequences, that is in the south of Achangoi lineament. This is in Valliyur area where you have the quartzite pellite sequences, so low dipping sequence, escarpment slope you are seeing. So you are able to see the different layers of this metasedimentary and their deformations. They are all garnetiferous quartzophosphathic gneiss. What earlier it used to be called as leptinite. That type of things are more common here in this domain. And you can see the shear deformation. These are the evidences of the shears. You can see the stretching and bowdinaging of the QF bands. And the incipient charnocite development also within this Valliyur quarry you can see. So as I told, this incipient development is a very unique feature in the entire AGT and more so in the Kerala Condalite belt. So this is one of the very typical of the Manali, very near to Trivandrum, where we have this set of patches. We can explain, we can interpret both as a relict also. People will say, this was earlier charnocite, now it is only remnant you are getting in the gneiss. But here you see there is a set of fractures. Along those fractures, there are two sets of fractures, and along these fractures, the charnocite is developed. This is a typical of a fluid-induced, fracture-controlled development of incipient charnocite. There's a lot of work has been done, and Santosh Group, Srikantappa,
Nathan, sir.
so many people. Yes, over, sir. Now coming to the final amalgamation. Now I have rotated the geological map just to match with this. Now you see here. This is what our Dharwar Cretan, the cretonic part, the granulites, the extension of the Dharwar Cretan here up to this point. So that is what this model it shows. Then we have the Moyar Bhavani shear zone. This is again considered to be a major zone of accretion. So we have the ophiolite, the suprasubduction zone, Sitamundi complex, Devanur complex, which are interpreted now as ophiolite. Though we have ultramafic rocks and the signatures of the ophiolites, people are now describing that this is the sort of a ophiolite sequence, but the age-wise it is a Neo-Archean, that is 2600 or older accretion. And this central Kaveri Sucha zone is the Mozambique Ocean portion. Then the Madurai block is getting accreted with this, and the part of the Madurai block going down and getting remelted and coming as the Kadavur Anathosite and the Kadavur Felsic volcanics and all those things. And incidentally, we have a very good Pan-African ophiolite, that is the Manamed ophiolite, has been very well documented here by Yellappa and others. So that goes in support of this neopotosaic accretion of this Madurai block with the Dharwar Craton. One thing is that the models get modified with more and more of understanding, more and more of database. But a lithology, a mineralization will never go wrong. If Dr. Gautam says, yes, this is Chitamundi chromatite contains platinum, whether Nathan goes or somebody goes, it is there. We have already explored. So likewise, if Kolar Greenstone extension is there, the gold mineralization possibility is there. Already Bensipeta and so many other areas are there. Then REE, granites are there. Though those are the field aspects, are the hardcore facts which we have to take into account. Based, no doubt, this overall evolutionary model we have to keep it in mind, but this target to focus should be more on the metallogenic part also. We have to give equal importance, because today, as you all know, we are importing 900 tons of gold every year. What is our production? It is just hardly 2 tons from the only mine and Hatti gold mines. So where is the gap? Huge gap is there. And platinum, so also importing. And RE, you know, the global geopolitics. Now one country is dictating the entire world. So we have to now become self-reliant in terms of the mineral wealth, so to take care of the economic future of our country. This lies in the hands of the younger participants who are attending this webinar. I really congratulate all you for the patient hearing, and then I am quite sure that the takeaway from this lecture will be to understand this and give little emphasis on the mineralization aspect also, so that we will, as a geoscientist, we will be contributing a lot to the GDP growth of our country. I once again thank Dr. Gautam for giving me this opportunity to share my little knowledge, though it is a bit elaborate lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So everybody was happy. They want the presentation to be extended, and accordingly, it was being extended. So,
Very nice. Thank you.
Sorry, sir. And the most of these participants requested to share the presentation.
Yes, you can share it.
It will be shared after the webinar program is over. So
yes,
there are also questions, but already time 2 hours is over for us.
My
So
email ID is there. They are free to send their queries to my email.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I will be definitely, whatever little knowledge I have, I will definitely try to give the clarification for that.
Yes, sir. So, okay, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for your elaborate presentation, sir. So the participants will be benefited, and there will be so many queries for you hereafter, I think. And
welcome. If there is 1 or 2 queries, if you want to ask also, you can. Yes, sir.
Hello.
சொல்லுங்க சார். சொல்லுங்க சார். Gautam sir.
Sir, you said that there was so many kimberlite in southern granulate terrain.
Yeah, not kimberlites. That is southern peninsular shield we have.
No, that was a question. That was a question posted by one of the participant. And is there any possibility of commercial diamond quarrying there?
Commercial diamond?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. That was a question posted.
Yeah, maybe I was not. granulate terrain, we didn't,
Okay.
the kimberlites always occur in the cratonic part, and the
Okay.
lamproids occur at the craton mobile belt contact. So we are likely to get lamproitic type of material. And one of our resource person, Dr. Srinivasan, has done an exclusive investigation for this locating kimberlites in this, but we were not successful. That is in Chittur terrain, there is a likelihood. Vajrakarur is just lying north of the Chittur. Vajrakarur, we have the kimberlites, isn't it? But so
Yes, sir.
the Vajrakarur and other pipes are economically viable. So that is, though the still we have not started the commercial mining.
Yes,
So
sir.
their economic diamond bearing kimberlites are reported, are located in the Vajrakarur and other, that is the Vajrakarur kimberlite field immediately north of Chittur.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for your elaborate presentation and wonderful presentation. We actually crossed
Yeah,
the
one thing
entire.
nothing is one thing I would like to clarify. Nothing is final in geology. So
Yes,
an
sir.
interesting person, a young enterprising person, may come out with a kimberlite in Tamil Nadu also. More probably in the Chittur terrain. So I
Yes.
wish they go with an open mind, especially where there is the intersection of two major fracture systems. That
Yes,
intersection
sir.
points are the favorable loci for the kimberlite. So the
Yes.
basic concept where to locate the kimberlite, they can keep it in mind. And there is a quite possibility in Chittur block, the nicest, especially when there is a thick sedimentary cover, still the kimberlite to be preserved, the chances are more. So they can see the bordering zones of the Andhra Pradesh because Karnataka also now they have got in North Karnataka, they have got a Madhur kimberlite pipes they have got. So likewise, this in Chittur terrain also, that is northern bordering Andhra Pradesh, there is a likelihood we may intersect some of the kimberlites. So we have to keep the options open. So as on date, no kimberlite, though lamp profiles.
Sir, your audio is not clear. Your audio is not clear.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
told.
Okay. Okay. Okay, sir.
Chittur terrain, there is a possibility. But we are,
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
thank you.
So we have to start the section by 2:30. So on behalf of Department of Geology and staff members, the principal, I thank Dr. N.P. Nathan for a wonderful presentation. We just crossed all over Tamil Nadu through your presentation geologically. It was an excellent presentation. Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. And there are questions for
Thank
you, and it will be sent to you. And
by
you
mail,
can respond.
you can mail it to me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all the participants. I thank for their patient hearing. Any clarification, they can always send it to me by mail. I will clarify. Thank you.
Dear participants, our next presentation will start at 2:30 sharp, and all of you are requested to log in by 2:20. Thank you so much. Thank you. Charles?
க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிட்டீங்களா?
Close.
ஓகே.